Hello everyone, welcome to Lukman IAS. Today we are going to have the Hindu analysis of 20th June 2021. Let us see which are the important articles. Yes, most of the articles relates to our prelims examination as it is Sunday's newspaper. Some of the developments on FAQ page and science and technology page, they are directly relating to our examination. You should keep that in mind. Let us take overview of all these articles. Rajasthan women vow to nurture green family on page number 1. It is talking about the innovative initiative in Rajasthan wherein the community plantation of trees on the community lands is being done, and yes, this is being supported by one of the professor who has been awarded a particular award by UNCCD. That's why the article mentions about United Nations Convention to combat desertification. So about that UNCCD, about that award, this becomes important for prelims examination from environment perspective. Next, are your staple rice and wheat losing their nutrients? Now, one of the study has suggested that the staple rice and food, these food grains are losing the nutrients as they had earlier 50 years ago. This study is showing some facts. Facts are mentioned in that article. Article also provides reasons for declining such nutrients and way forward as a biofortification. What is this particular biofortification process? This is very important for prelims examination from science perspective. Biotechnology. Then High Court directs NHRC to examine complaints of Bengal violence. This is Kolkata High Court directing NHRC forming one committee to examine complaints of Bengal post assembly poll violence that happened in West Bengal. So NHRC, from polity perspective, basics about NHRC is constitution, members, chairman, their appointment, tenure, all these things are important. Then NGT closes proceedings against Mekedatu Dam project. Earlier also we talked about Mekedatu Dam project. Again this will be revision, location of that dam, across which river that dam is being built, and the purpose and the environmental concerns. So this is important from environment and geography also. Then a buzz with cicadas. So these cicadas, actually recently we have seen this particular buzzword because of the outbreak of the cicadas in eastern part of USA. So what is this particular environmental phenomenon? We have to understand that from environment as well as general awareness perspective. Lastly, some practice prelims MCQs on these current affairs basis. Let us understand one by one. First, Rajasthan women vow to nurture green family. So why green family? Actually, the Rajasthan women in this particular panchayats, they are planting these trees and they have pledged to treat the plants as green members of their families. They are considering these plants, trees as the members of these families. This is called as familial forestry. This is called as familial forestry. Okay, so yes, the concept actually was given by Shyam Sundar Jaini, the recipient of this year's Land for Life Award of United Nations, given by UNCCD, guided the volunteers in preparing soil, selecting the saplings and planting them with care. So he came up with this concept and he was awarded for that concept, familial forest. Okay, so considering the plants as green members of their families. Okay, so yes, to mark the World Day to combat desertification and drought, the initiative is also part of unique Harit Marubhumi Green Desert Land Drive. Fine. Basically, this highlights the crucial interconnection between humanity and nature. Fine. So yes, as it is Rajasthan, dry species, those species in drylands and semi-arid and arid regions like khejri tree, very important. This is also worshipped in Rajasthan by many communities, right? Rohida, neem, ber, shisham, these are species of arid and semi-arid regions. Okay, so you should be aware about this. This is given in NCERT itself. 7th standard NCERT, this is related to our environment. There you can find the mention of these plants. plantation sites included government schools and panchayat land. That is, to some extent we can understand community lands, they are being used here, government schools, panchayat land. At the same time, sarpanches of panchayats and women residing in nearby areas owned up the responsibility of keeping plants safe until they grow into trees and perennial herbs. Now this is also good thing, considering these plants as members of family, to some extent gives the responsibility, and this responsibility is owned by the women members of society as well as the panchayat heads. Fine. So yes, Shyam Sundar Jaini and this award UNSCCD. Let us try to know about UNCCD, United Nations Convention on combat desertification. Now this is one of the three Rio Convention. Rio Convention, which are these Rio Convention? These convention are actually outcome of Rio Earth Summit. Rio Earth Summit 1992. Important summits related to environment protection, climate change. This is important for prelims examination. Now, which are these three Rio Convention? One of them being United Nations Convention on combat desertification. Other one is UNCBD, United Nations Convention on Biological Diversity. United Nations Convention on Biological Diversity, and this UNFCCC, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Framework Convention on Climate Change. Now UNFCCC many times in news, Paris Deal, COP21, Kyoto Protocol, right. So other two are not that much in news, this UNCBD and UNCCD, but all of these three are called Rio Conventions. This was adopted in Paris, France on 1994, came into force in 1996. It is the only international legally bind framework to address the problems of desertification. Now there are at present 197 parties and the secretariat is located in Bonn, Germany. The highest decision making body, Conference of Parties, basically these are the members representatives 197, oversees the implementation of this convention. Recent COP 14 was held in New Delhi in 2019. It adopted New Delhi Declaration, investing in land and unlocking opportunities. This was the theme. Fine. So Land for Life Award, this was in that article. This is actually announced every 2 years. It organizes Land for Life Award and it recognizes excellence and innovation in efforts towards land in balance. Basically innovative efforts to combat the problem of desertification, they are recognized here. This year in 2021, this award goes to Shyam Sundar Jaini for his efforts in familial forest. He is associate professor in sociology at Government Dungar College in Bikaner, Rajasthan. Familial forestry relates to the tree with family, and thereby a tree is treated as green member of the family. Okay, so this is familial forest. So you should be aware about the terms for familial forestry, then award, and about UNSCCD. Next. Are your staple rice and wheat losing their nutrients? Now this new study, this particular article on Science and Technology page, the study that is done, it talks about that today's rice and wheat do not have same density of essential nutrients as cultivated 50 years ago. Some of the facts are mentioned, they are not important, you need not to mug up these facts. Okay, just you should be aware that there is one such study and it is saying that nutrient levels in the food grains are declining. Why? Two reasons, like dilution effect, that is caused by decreased nutrient concentration in response to higher grain yield, right. So the nutrient concentration, whatever the nutrients that are available in soil, that is being supplied for more grains production, that automatically reduces or dilution of the nutrients happens. This means rate of yield increase is not compensated by rate of nutrient take up by the plants, right. Along with that, soil supporting plants could be low in plant available nutrients. So that may also result into decline in nutrients in food grains. So as a solution, there is need to concentrate on other options like biofortification, where we breed food crops that are rich in micronutrients. Right. So, biofortification, what is this process? Now, biofortification refers to breeding of crops for nutrient value enrichment. For nutrient value enrichment. Now, this is different from ordinary fortification. What happens in ordinary fortification? These nutrients are added when the food is being processed. Right, food processing happens. Such kind of food fortification is already happening in midday meal schemes, right. So, here the biofortification process is related to when the plant is growing stage, right. So, yes, the nutrients are added when the plants are growing. Basically, nutrients are provided through the soils, or genetic engineering or genetic breeding or selective breeding of those let us say crops is done to increase the nutrient value, right. So, this is biofortification. You should understand the difference. Ordinary fortification, biofortification, both are aiming towards increasing the nutritional value, but with different methods. Now, we have to understand micronutrient deficiency is one of the problem in India with hidden hunger, where the child wastage and child stunting is very high among the Indian children, which is visible from India's ranking in Global Hunger Index, right. In India, the focus is on selective breeding of pearl millet for iron enrichment, wheat for zinc enrichment, sorghum, iron, rice, zinc, cowpeas, iron, and lentils for iron and zinc. This is the present focus. The example, very good example, already UPC asked this question in prelims examination. Golden rice, GM crop, genetically modified crops developed to increase its nutritional value, especially for vitamin A deficiency. For vitamin A deficiency, what happens here? This golden rice contains increased level of beta carotene, which can be converted by the body into vitamin A. This is the process that is used in golden rice. So, as an example, you can use this for biofortification. This is very important to ensure food security and eliminating hunger, especially hidden hunger we are talking, micronutrient deficiency. So, in social justice part GS2 paper, in way forward you should provide the example reference to biofortification as a way forward to ensure zero hunger in India. Now, moving on, High Court directs NHRC, National Human Rights Commission, to examine complaints of Bengal violence. So, yes, recently after West Bengal assembly poll elections, there was violence in different areas of the state. To inquire into that, now Calcutta High Court has directed NHRC to constitute committee and examine those complaints. So, yes, we will have follow up on that, but right now important for us for prelims examination, these statutory and constitutional bodies. This is statutory body that is formed through enactment of parliamentary law, Protection of Human Rights Act 1993. Right. So, composition, it is multi-member body consisting of chairman and 5 members, 1 plus 5, chairman plus 5 members. Yes, qualification important, chairman should be retired Chief Justice of India or Judge of Supreme Court, and members should be serving or retired judges of Supreme Court, a serving or retired Chief Justice of High Court, and 3 persons out of which at least 1 should be a woman having knowledge and practical experience with respect to human rights. In addition, the commission also has 7 ex officio members. Who are these 7 ex officio members? Like chairperson of commission, National Commission for Minority, National Commission for Women, National Commission for STs, National Commission for STs. Then we have the National Commission for Protection of Child Rights. Their chairmen are ex officio members of this National Human Rights Commission. The appointment happens by the President on the recommendation of 6-member committee. Who are these 6 members? Yes, earlier we talked about this. 6 members, Prime Minister as the head of that committee. The other 2 members like Speaker of Lok Sabha and Vice Chairman of or Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha. 3 members. Then 4th one is Leader of Opposition in Lok Sabha and Leader of Opposition in Rajya Sabha. Right. And the 6th one being the Home Minister of or Union Home Minister. Union Home Minister. These are the members of that six member committee. Now the term is 3 year. The chairman and members hold the office for 3 years or until they achieve the age of 70 years, whichever is earlier. Removal, president can remove the chairman member from office anytime. Salaries and allowances are decided by central government, not by the president, not by the parliament. They are decided by the central government. It has powers of civil court. Then the commission is not empowered to inquire into any matter after expiry of 1 year from the date which the violation of human rights happened. The commission is mainly recommendatory in nature, no binding powers on the government. It has no power to punish the violators nor to award any relief. It can only recommend the compensation or relief. The commission submits its annual or special reports to central government and state governments concerned. Fine? Okay. Now NGT closes proceedings against Mekadatu Dam project. So yes, Mekadatu Dam project, recently news as a tussle between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu over this project. Basically now from the suo motu recognition of media reports on allegations of violations of environmental norms in construction of dam. Now NGT has closed the proceedings against Mekadatu Dam project after finding merit in Karnataka government submission that requisite environmental clearances were pending consideration before statutory authorities concerned. So at present the environmental clearances are not given by the government. This is the say of Karnataka government. About this project, yes, location Mekadatu Dam project, you can see that in map. Location here near Bangalore city, actually here the Bangalore city is there. This Mekadatu Dam project is being constructed across Kaveri river. Basically there is balancing reservoir to be constructed under this project to store water for drinking water purpose demands of Bangalore city. Right. There are some environmental concerns, that is 63% of the forest area that will be submerged is in the Kaveri Wildlife Sanctuary. Kaveri Wildlife Sanctuary. Fine. So these are the environmental concerns. So abuts with cicadas. What are these cicadas that are happening in US recently? Billions of cicadas have emerged across eastern parts of United States. Sorry. Right. So yes, basically this phenomenon is periodic emergence. Generally there is 13-year or 17-year cycle. There is 13-year or 17-year cycles. These moths actually undergoes periodic evolution in their life, and there are different stages, 5 stages. Among these 5 stages, 4 stages they live underground. They live underground and feed on the roots of plants. Feed on the roots of plants. Okay. Now in 5th stage they emerge on the surface for reproduction purpose. They emerge on the surface on reproduction purpose. Mass reproduction happens when they emerge on the surface. There is some kind of sound they make to attract the opposite sex and for mating purpose. So that's why the song of cicadas, the word is being used, right? And after mating, the female gives, let's say, lay eggs, and then she dies after that. These eggs, then the hatching of eggs happens, and almost 95% of the population dies after immediately hatching but 5% they fall on the leaves, and then like rainfall is happening, then they bury into the ground for this 13-year period or 17-year period cycle, and again after that period they emerge. This is actually the environmental phenomenon that is observed, where yes, they are, yes, periodical. Why periodical? After this happened, which parts of US they are happening? Generally eastern parts of USA. Okay. And are there periodical cicadas in India? Actually, such kind of moths that are found in 3 areas on Indian subcontinent: in Meghalaya in northeast, second Western Ghats, and third in Sri Lanka. The most prominent one can be seen in Meghalaya. A similar kind of periodic emergence of these moths happens in Meghalaya. Local people know about this. They also use these moths for let's say in food purpose also, along with that food for catching fish in the lakes and rivers, right. So this is the situation, or the phenomenon is a similar phenomenon also observed in India also. Fine. Okay, let us try to solve some MCQs. Try to solve this one. Yes, so let us have a look at the statements about Land for Life award. We have to find the correct statements. It is biannual award. Yes, this is correct. Recognizing innovative initiatives for recovery and restoration of degraded land worldwide, basically for desertification, for prevention of desertification. This is correct statement. It is given by UNEP. Now those students who are not aware about this, yes, they may think this is correct and may mark the wrong answer, but this is not given by UNEP, rather it is given by UNCCD itself, United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification. So this is incorrect. Answer should be 1 only. Now attempt this one. Yes, just now we understood the concept of biofortification. From that you can attempt this correctly. Biofortification is actually referring to breeding of crops to increase their nutritional value. Those students who do not know about biofortification, in general if they know about fortification, they may be confused about this first and fourth option, nutrient enrichment, because this is also nutrient enrichment also. Right, so that's why you should be aware about, specifically aware about the meaning or the concepts of this biofortification. Breeding of crops to increase their nutrition. This breeding can be traditionally selective breeding or genetically modified crops also, genetic engineering. Fine. Okay, so yes, these were important articles from today's The Hindu newspaper. For further information regarding foundation batch at Lukman IAS for 2022 examination, UPSC CSE 2022 examination, those who are preparing or starting their preparation for the first time for this examination, or just completed their graduation and exploring, seeking to explore their career in civil services, this program is very apt for those students. To know more about the foundation batch, you can contact Lukman IAS. Thank you.
Live online classes are as effective as offline classes. Ethics with S. Ansari remains the best ever choice. Do you know that ethics paper is the only paper in general studies that pays more with less efforts? One can easily secure 130 to 140 marks Lukman IAS is a well-established name since 2014 for ethics paper. We offer 3 types of courses: Ethics Foundation course, Ethics Case Studies, and Ethics Test Series. Since 2015, Lukman IAS students have maintained the records of securing the highest marks in this paper. Ethics Foundation course is starting from 21st of June 2021. Classes will be for 4 days in a week from 11 am to 1:30 pm. The course duration is of 60 days and the videos will be available for 75 days. There will be 43 classes, of which 35 classes will be focused on theory and concept building and 8 classes will be dedicated for case studies. There will be over 180 case studies and 3 tests. Since 4 months are left for prelims, one can easily finish the ethics paper before prelims itself, and it's a good opportunity. So why to wait? Contact us today for more information.